Okay, so before I start the video, I want to mention a couple of things. First thing is that nobody subscribes to these. You look at this video here that actually had around 4,000 views in total. Uh, it says 99.6% of you guys were not subscribed to this video. And the reason that's concerning is because when you go to the reach, 95% of this is from YouTube recommending the content to you. So the problem with that is if no one's subscribing to this, no one's going to see this. And it really sucks because I love making these videos. And if some people could just subscribe to this or just think about coming back every now and then, it would really help me out. I actually love debating. You go to the comments, especially in this video. I was debating with people. It was fun. I love interacting with every single one of you guys. It is so fun for me. Uh, and now that I'm starting to get a couple of views, a lot of views for me on some of these videos, I'm able to see these demographics, and it's really concerning for me because I love making these. And I'm not just some random guy online. I've been doing these predictions for 4 years since I was 14. In 2020, I got every single state in the presidential election correctly. If you even want proof of that, I can send you the links to the videos because they're kind of hard to find. But I'll send it to you, and I can even show you what time of day I posted them using a website. Like, I actually got that election correct. I got 2022 Senate elections correct besides Nevada. That was really hard to predict. I'm sorry about that one, if people actually saw that. But my point is, no one saw that because no one's subscribing to these videos. 0.2% of people from this video right here subscribe. And it's just so important for some people to subscribe to this because I would love people to see this. I love doing these. Thank you so much.
Hello, today's August 31st, 2024. Today I'm going to be updating my presidential election predictions. I did one of them a couple days ago. Obviously, I've changed my mind about some of that. It was the first time I had Trump winning for a while. But, I just been thinking about things a lot. I have two state changes, two, actual call changes. I have some general changes and some takes as well, I would like to say today. So I'm going to be going over my predictions again. Again, I typically do, one of these a week. This is just my second this week. So usually when we get to, October, I'll be doing this about this often. And you see here the color on North and South Dakota right now. Those colors would mean safe red, which would be 15 points or more. This color would mean likely red, which would be 7 points or more, 7 to 14.9. Here would be lean red, 2 to 6.9%. And here would be anything under 2%, which would be tilt R. Same with Democrats, safe, likely, lean, and tilt. So I'm just going to get straight into it. I'm going to do the safe red states: North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, Utah, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, Indiana, Missouri, Nebraska at large, Nebraska's 3rd district. Anything else? That's the last state that I have over 15 points for Republicans. And for Democrats, I have Washington, California, New York, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Vermont, Maryland, Illinois, D.C., Maine's 1st district, and that is the last, Hawaii, and that is the last thing I have safe for Democrats. Obviously, there's some other states here like Kansas, Alaska, South Carolina, New Jersey, Delaware, Oregon. The states aren't really in play for, Democrats and Republicans. They're kind of already decided. It's just the margin technicality that I like to do, and I like to have more colors on the map. That's why I have different margins than everyone. You get a better idea, because if you see Republicans have, Ohio as safe red, it doesn't, properly reflect it as, obviously Ohio is safe red, but it's not Kentucky level safe red. So my margins go 7 to 14.9, whereas a lot of the other prediction channels will go just anything over 10 points, and I think there's a good chance Trump wins Ohio by 11-12%. So I am going to have Ohio and Iowa as likely red states, same with Kansas, Alaska, and South Carolina, and Nebraska's 1st district. Nebraska's 1st district, I honestly thought I'd have people mention anything about it. No one's mentioned anything why I have it as likely. I guess a lot of people just don't care because it's a single electoral vote. I only have it as under 15% is because technically it was in 2020, as well as it is one of the fastest blue shifting red states. Nebraska and Kansas tied for the fastest blue shifting states that voted Republican last year. The last election, I meant 2020. Both exactly 6%. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it gets like 6.001. I don't know which one actually went more blue, but both within the same hundredth of a point. So both shifted pretty solidly for Democrats. And 2032. You know what? 20. Let's say 2040. Let's see what happens in Nebraska. uh, we'll see. And so those are all the likely. Ooh, I'm gonna put Florida in at likely red as well. Obviously, there's a lot of Democrats saying Florida's in play. It's not in play. Shut up. Trump's gonna win here probably. I have him winning here by 7.4%. I think that's a pretty uh, generous win for Democrats. I think like they should be happy that they hold him under double digits in Florida because of how fast he's taken away. Uh, in some of these swing states after 2016, Iowa, Ohio, he's going to probably win both of them by double digits. Florida, he might win by double digits. I don't expect him to. Uh, and now we're kind of getting into, I'm going to mark these next two states, Oregon and Delaware, as well as likely blue states. And I've seen cases for every other state left that these states could go the other way. I've seen Republicans online have Colorado going red or New Mexico going red. New Mexico's way more likely to go red than Colorado, even maybe Virginia, but it's not on that level for me yet. And I have genuinely seen Republicans actually believe they are up by double digits. They will win in New Jersey. No, that's why I didn't fill it out yet. I just wanted to take my own time to say, if you're a Republican, you're going to election night thinking you're going to win New Jersey, obviously you're going to think the election's rigged. Why would you even think this at all? Like, that's such a stupid thing to think, that New Jersey could go red in this election. Obviously, yeah, it's a more moderate blue state. It was competitive in the governor's race. Phil Murphy, his wife, lost her primary. Polls don't show it being a safe Democrat state. Harris hasn't had great wins here so far. I believe Biden has a bad approval here, but it's New Jersey. It's like saying Massachusetts is going to vote against is going to vote Republican for a Republican senator because they don't like Elizabeth Warren. Of course, they don't like Elizabeth Warren. She has one of the worst approval ratings of a senator in any Democratic state, but especially a state that's that Democratic. But she's going to win because she's a Democrat in Massachusetts. It's just how it works for now, and until I see Massachusetts get close, then I'm always going to mark it as safe blue. It's just, I notice that both sides are getting their hopes up ridiculously large. Like, Florida is as likely to go blue as New Jersey is to go red. And by that I mean I'm giving 95% Florida blue, 95% New Jersey. 95% Florida red, 95% New Jersey blue. And the rest of the likely blue states, Colorado, New Mexico, Virginia, obviously those Hillary states that she held on to, as well as Minnesota, and Maine and New Hampshire. You could, as a Republican, make an argument for Minnesota or New Hampshire. I even made a video that went over Minnesota, and that actually got a pretty good amount of views. I might have mentioned it in a little intro I recorded. I don't remember. I recorded that intro like 20 times. Actually, literally, I recorded over 20 times because I kept going on, and then I'm like, oh, this is too much, or I'm going off of track. And if you watch these videos, you know I go off track a lot. Obviously, I just went straight from talking about red New Jersey straight to Minnesota. So I'm well aware that I'm not very well organized on here. But again, like I said in the intro, I have one of the best prediction records here. And the next thing I'm going to put in is lean red Texas, probably like 4 points. It might shift more to the red than it did in 2020, I meant. Like, you could say that Trump could win here by like 8 or 9%. That's possible. I don't see that happening, especially since a lot of the reason that he was still leading by over 5% in the first place in Texas is because of the Hispanic shift in southern Texas, where he flipped like multiple counties from 2016 to 2020. And truth is, there's only so many more counties he can do that with. He's already gotten half of them. That's really the only part of Texas that's consistently shifting red. Everywhere else, Dallas, Houston, Fort Worth, what's the other counties up here around Dallas as well? San Antonio shifting blue. Like, it kind of outdoes the Republican shift in southern Texas, and I don't think, and I think in the 2032, I think Texas is going to flip, but obviously not this year. Trump should have a way to win here, unless he shits himself in the debate and horribly just like sabotages himself or says the N word or something, which he, you know what? I'm very surprised. He could have said it last night. Last night he went to his rally and he's like, "Yeah, Byron Donalds, he's one of the good ones." That's actually what he said. I'm surprised that didn't get as much press as it did. And I was like, "Oh, was it taken out of context? Was he talking about congressmen?" No, he didn't clarify. I mean, he was probably talking about congressmen, but he knew what he knew what he was saying. He knew what he was saying. Even the crowd went quiet. They're like, "Eh." That is wild. That's the closest we've ever gotten to a white president saying the N word on TV. Would not be surprised if he just blurts it out at the debate. That is absolutely something he would do. Now I'm going to go over some of these Rust Belt states. Actually, let's do these other states first. I'm going to do the other Republican states I have. North Carolina, tilt red. I give Harris a 42% chance of carrying North Carolina or something. She could absolutely carry North Carolina. And if she wins North Carolina and Nevada, she doesn't need Pennsylvania, which I am giving back to Harris today. Obviously, wasn't like ridiculously controversial that I gave everything that I gave Trump the election last time, because like it's obviously extremely close. But there was one guy in the comments who like, no, I didn't argue with him or anything. I'm not even going to mention it. I was going to say like he argued with me. He did not argue with me. In fact, he was really nice about it. I expected a backlash from changing PA to tilt red, but I am changing it to tilt Democrat this time. And honestly, I don't know why I shifted it in the first place. Obviously, I'm in my head a lot about these predictions. I've not gotten a single state wrong in the presidential level in 2020. I'm extremely nervous about getting one wrong, and I'm almost certain that I will get one wrong this election. I usually get one wrong in every set of elections, like the Nevada Senate race in 2022. I had Republicans winning that one. I still had Democrats winning the Senate, but so that's the most important thing. I don't know, man. It's pretty concerning, in my opinion, that I've messed up so much in 2022. But my 2020 predictions were good. In 2022, I had Kansas's Senate race as competitive. So obviously, I was 14 at the time. My predictions weren't on point everywhere, but I got every governor's seat right. I got every presidential seat right. I expect to presidential state right, like the election. And I said Democrats will win the House in 2020. I said they would lose the House in 2022. And I think they will win the House this year as of right now. I have not gotten that wrong either yet. I might do a whole video about it. But I have a lot more planned for the next couple months. And I plan to keep this channel active after the election. Especially if these videos keep getting views. So that's why I made that whole thing saying I wanted people to subscribe in the beginning. Because, it was just... It's so fun to do these online. So I'm moving PA to blue there. I decided the order to do this in because I want to lead it straight to the end. So I'm going to give Harris Nevada. I'm giving Kamala Harris Nevada by a lean margin this time. I give her it by tilt margin. And then I'm like, you know what? Every single year, Nevada's like the only state that actually votes more to the left than people think it will. Obviously, people thought that the senator would win. Laxalt would win in 2022. Most people did anyway. Like I say most people as in like the major predictors or like LTE, who originally is why I started making videos. And it's really funny that I surpassed him when I was 14 years old in accuracy. I also did better than him in 2022. I should mention that. I might do a whole video about that, but I don't want to like clown on him or anything. I like that guy. He's fun. Maine 2nd District, lean red. I did that last video too, but I didn't really explain. It's just, I think the general main shift is blue, even though Trump shifted it so much towards himself in 2016 to win Maine 2nd by a lot. I still think it's going to be around 5 or 6 points of victory here. Actually, Harris is leading here. I just don't believe that. And I'm also going to give Harris a likely win in Nebraska's 2nd District for the first time. She's probably going to win it by like 8-9%. They finally polled it today again. Nebraska as a whole, they did the first. They did the first. They did the second district's House seat. They did the second district for the presidential election, and then they polled the statewide, and they polled the state senate race. All of which was pretty interesting. Obviously, Nebraska under 20-point win for Trump right now. That's typically around what he had, like high teens, so like 18, 19 points. That's around what that was. So not really a major shift in Nebraska there. Then you look at the House race poll. Democrats were flipping that House seat by like 5%. I think Bacon, was it Don Bacon, the guy there? I know some guy accidentally misspelled it as Beacon. On the political polls, Twitter, they misspelled it as Beacon once, and I confused it since. But I think it is Bacon. And he's losing 2 of the last 3 polls there by multiple points. That's a huge seat for Democrats to pick up, and turnout in this seat would be really good for them in a presidential year, because they could, I actually did my House predictions last night privately, and I had Democrats winning the House by 219 to 217, or was it 216? So yeah, one more seat goes a long way for them. I still put it as a red seat yesterday, but yeah. Next seat I'll do is lean blue, Michigan. Obviously, some polls are narrowing up, but the only polls I've seen Harris losing or tied in Michigan have been red polls. Like even Fox had her leading a pretty good amount in Michigan. I meant, but today, what was it? She's down 1, maybe 2, or she tied in Trafalgar Group. Trafalgar Group, you could argue Rasmussen has had its historic accuracy before. It's not going to work this year because they're still accounting for the red shift on top of what normal polls have. But the 2022 polls were a lot better and more accurate, and if they're gonna be that accurate this year, then Rasmussen is so off base that they need to just stop polling altogether if that's what they're gonna do, or readjust. But I think they're gonna stick with their gut and keep adjusting polls for Republicans. Obviously they are Republicans, so it's also hard to trust insider polls. That's why the poll in Nebraska. I forgot to talk about the Senate one in Nebraska. That's why that one's important, because we've had like 5 polls already in Nebraska Senate race, but they've all been in their own. They've all been internal polls for the candidates, but this was the first one we had that was an independent pollster, not independent as in the independent running for Senate, but independent as in they have no affiliation. And obviously, I don't really know that pollster, so I don't know how good they are, but it's Ticket Split or something. I think I've heard of them once or twice, and they actually had that being a 1-point victory for Deb Fischer. So Democrats, if they actually manage to keep the Senate because they win an independent seat in Nebraska, that will go down as one of the most wild turnarounds in recent history of Senate elections and stuff. Maybe Doug Jones would be a better example. So, I'm going to give Donald Trump Arizona this time. I know I was more confident last time. Like, I'm moving it to lean blue, and I'm moving it right back down 2 spots for Republicans. But I am, there's no consistent lead for anyone here. It's shaky. That was the reason I gave Trump Pennsylvania last time. I was nervous, and I don't think I should be using my nervousness as my election predictions. I should be realistic about these. Arizona, I probably will end up putting it back as blue by election day, but as of right now, if the election was held today, I think Arizona would vote for Trump by less than a percentage point. I think Gallagher is going to go a long way to giving Harris Arizona if she does end up winning the state. I am giving Harris Georgia for the first time today. I have not given a Democratic candidate Georgia since 2022, when my channel was more active then. I have not given a Democrat Georgia in a while, and the reason I'm giving her this now is because we're finally getting data, and again, it's really hard when the only thing I have is data. But again, Trump keeps going to Atlanta, calling them trash cities. He's sabotaging his campaign, calling Byron Donalds one of the good ones. That's kind of crazy. That's not going to go well with black voters, obviously. It's not going to change everything. Harris, while she is down with some black voters nationwide, she's not down in black voters in Georgia. She's still polling at like 90% with black voters in Georgia. Trump's polling at like 8%, which is pretty on par. And even though Georgia has a lot more conservative voters, the voters that identify as conservative than voters who identify as Democrat, I'm still giving her this because she's polling at 8% with Georgia Republicans, and she's polling, and Trump's only polling at 4% with Democrats. And there's more Republicans than Democrats in Georgia, so that's over twice the amount of crossover voters that Harris has in Georgia, and I think that's going to go a long way. The Lincoln Project is going to be huge to giving Harris Georgia once again, and I think she could absolutely win it. And I'm pretty close to giving her North Carolina as well, but it's like 2/3 of the time it's going to Trump. I'm not going to give her North Carolina probably. I might not give her North Carolina for the rest of the cycle. It depends how the debate goes. And I'm also going to give Harris lean win in Wisconsin. I do think that Walz helps here, and I mentioned that last video. I think it's a pretty big thing. But I think Wisconsin's like one of the easiest. Like Wisconsin and Michigan are the easiest swing states to predict this year. Even if you're a Republican, like the okay, I shouldn't say that because I've seen some real, like I said earlier, some Republicans have had New Jersey going going red, and that's really funny because I saw someone say that as long as we win as long as we win New Jersey, we don't even need Pennsylvania. Which even if this map happens and she loses New Jersey somehow, she would still win. Obviously, she's not going to lose New Jersey. I think there's a chance it goes down to like 8%. At absolute best case scenario, she could like get dominated in the debate, have really really bad last 2 months, and she'd still win New Jersey by like at least 5%. And obviously, the Senate race is not helping Democrats for morale in New Jersey either. But anyways, this was my generally quicker election video. I just thought it'd be nice to put out another video. Like I said, I do enjoy making these. I like the comments. I like, I've actually been getting subscribers on some of these videos. Like it's been, I've actually been getting a community. It's been really fun. Thank you everyone for going to me for some of these. This has been pretty fun for me. So, all right, everybody have a good day.